お前はもう死んでいる。
Welcome back. Today I am going to talk about, I guess, the journey of pre-workout that I've been on recently. I didn't used to take pre-workout because I thought it was kind of silly, and I usually worked out at night or afternoon, so I wasn't that tired. But now I work out in the morning, and I don't drink coffee, and so I don't really have a caffeine boost like a lot of people do in the morning. And so this is where I'm at. It's kind of a lot, but I've been doing some research, and I don't think it's all fake. So why should you not take pre-workout? Well, you should really only take pre-workout if you're going to be working out, because it is kind of expensive if it's just like to taste good. There are some things inside pre-workouts that are good for you regardless of if you're working out or not, like vitamins and things such as that. But there's easier ways to get it, and that's kind of why I've got these bags instead of more pre-mixed products. The only reason you should be taking pre-workout is if you're trying to work out either earlier or harder than you regularly could without it, because it's not going to fix like not eating well or not sleeping enough. You're still going to be tired. It's not going to overcome any bad habits that you have. So you should probably make sure that you're already getting sleep, you're already getting enough good food, and you have like good workout habits as well. Basically, there are two main different types of pre-workouts. There's stimulant pre-workouts and nitric oxide boosters, and you can get them kind of a mix of two, but generally they come as one or the other. These two here that I have are mainly stimulant. This one is a little bit of a mix of both, but this one is purely just nitric oxide booster, and I'll explain what that means in a second. Basically, stimulants are just going to have caffeine or other sources of stimulants, such as like green tea extract or taurine or guanine, I think is what it's called, that's going to wake you up, that's going to basically act like coffee would. On the other hand, nitric oxide boosters are like, here you go. On the other hand, nitric oxide, I'm too hot for that. I was going to try and support, but nitric oxide boosters work through a couple of steps. Vasodilates your vessels, so makes them open up, basically gets more blood flow to your body, and nothing's really proven anymore, but the idea is that it gets more blood to your muscles, more blood to just your body tissue in general, and that's usually what people are chasing, is like the pump, when you get you just feel good, basically. You look really vascular. If it works, that's the key part. Nitric oxide boosters will have citrulline in them, or citrulline malate, which is what I have here. This is citrulline malate, and it's really sour, but I just down it. And then other vasodilators include like beta-alanine, like malic acid is one. I think salt just in general, and like potassium are as well. Usually you don't see them together, and I'm not really sure why. I was reading some things, it has to do with like caffeine can sometimes act as a vasoconstrictor, whereas nitric oxide boosters are vasodilators, so they might be conflicting effects, but at the same time, sometimes you see them together, so it might just be a marketing thing. My main point is, I guess, say what I use. The thing is, when you buy pre-mixed ones, you don't always know what you're gonna get. For instance, this one I bought from GNC a while ago, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just bought it. It was like $30 for 30 servings. So I was like, cool, $1 a serving. But a lot of times, unless you look into them, they're kind of useless, honestly, because for instance, this one is supposed to be amino acids and energy, so you'd think it'd be a stimulant. For a serving, it has 160 milligrams, but a serving is 2 scoops, so really there's only 15 scoops in here, so 15 workouts. I mean, that's a considerable amount of caffeine, but the caffeine is in a proprietary blend, so it's not even necessarily actually 150 milligrams of caffeine. It's 150 or 160 milligrams of caffeine, green tea, coffee bean, and like a root that I can't pronounce. And so a lot of them try to trick you by doing stuff like that. Anyways, usually these are junk. You either have to eat like 6 scoops of them to do one thing. Whereas this one is one that actually I really liked. It's called Prolific, that I bought because a guy that I follow, Jeff Nippard, has a flavor of it. And this one has a lot better stuff in it. So 1 scoop is actually 160 milligrams of caffeine, which is kind of like your standard. 150 to 160 is like your standard amount of caffeine. It has citrulline in it as well, which is a nitric oxide booster. It has 3 grams, and I've seen anywhere from like 3 to 10 grams is a preferred dose. And I actually was using this one for a while, but it is kind of like expensive. Like it's 40 servings, and I think it's like $40, so it's still like $1 a serving, but I don't know, kind of adds up. And personally, I've never really felt like the stimulant-based pre-workouts ever did much for me. I mean, I don't know if I'm just like a non-responder to caffeine or something, but I've never really noticed a difference. So like I take them because they taste good, but other than that, I don't ever really notice much of a difference. And that's why I started buying just like my own ingredients basically to mix myself. So this is citrulline malate, which is a nitric oxide booster. Anyway, so I would take this in addition to this to get 6 grams of citrulline, because that I do notice. I think it kind of comes with the territory is like the more, not necessarily fit, but the more like in tune with how your body works during exercise, the more you're able to notice things like citrulline. Just in terms of like how full your muscles feel, if that makes sense. And then I also have beta-alanine as well, which is it's a vasodilator, is 5 grams of this. And as far as I can tell, that's a generally good dosage. This is just creatine, which that's a whole nother story, but a lot of pre-workouts generally will have this as well in smaller amounts from like 2 to 5 grams. But recently, and maybe the main point here is I recently bought this, which is called Gorilla Mode Nitric, and this doesn't have any caffeine, so it's stimulant free. I bought it from another YouTuber that I like to watch his stuff, and it has a ton of stuff compared to these two. For example, 1 scoop of this is 4 grams. 1 scoop of this is 7 grams, whereas 1 scoop of this is 18 grams. So it's actually, I'll show you. So this is where GNC scams you. So here's their scoop. Here is Prolific scoop, which is slightly bigger. I'm gonna leave that open for a second. And then here's Gorilla Mode scoop, which is just comical to me when you compare the two. Like, it can fit inside. It is so much bigger. Oh, we got a little great. But so it's actually like it's a lot of stuff that you have to get down. I used to just put like some water in my mouth and just pour it down like that with this one. But there's no way that happens with this one, because it's just too much. There's no way you can put that and water in your mouth and choke it down by any means. It just becomes like gritty sand. But anyways, I've actually been really happy with this because, like a good boyfriend, it checks all the boxes. It has like appropriately dosed citrulline. So 1 scoop is 5 grams. It has 2 grams of beta-alanine, and as far as I can tell, I won't bore you with the details, but pretty much well-dosed other vasodilators. It's a little bit more expensive. It's like $1.25 a serving. So I still use this in addition to a scoop of this and a scoop of this, just because I really like covering my bases, I guess. And so I probably will never, I'll never buy this again because I just have no need to. If I'm looking for a stimulant, if I ever feel like stimulant's working for me, I'll probably buy this again. I have probably, I don't know, like 20 scoops left in here. So I'll maybe use it from time to time, but I am pretty sold on this. I really do enjoy this. Some people really don't like it gives you kind of a tingle feel. It starts working because it is an increased amount of blood flow, and that makes you kind of feel itchy. It'll make like the tips of your ears kind of itchy. It'll make kind of like your forehead tingle a little bit. But I like that because that means I know it's working in terms of being able to expend energy early in the morning. I would much rather have something like this going to work for me rather than just a ton of caffeine or something that pretends to have caffeine and doesn't really have anything at all. So that is kind of my explanation of all the stuff I've been putting in my body. My kidneys, as far as I can tell, they're working still. And more or less, I'm feeling good. So basically, in conclusion, if you have money to spend and you want to buy a pre-workout, don't buy from GNC. Do a little research and see what you like. Or you can just buy Gorilla Mode, because Gorilla Mode I have enjoyed. But remember your 3 key points. Do you want a stimulant or a nitric oxide booster? Maybe you want both. Remember your dosages for pretty much citrulline and caffeine. Citrulline around 5 grams, caffeine around 150 milligrams. And third, remember to have fun. Thanks for watching me talk about supplements that may or may not work. It could be all in my head, but I don't think they are. Until I figure that out, see you next time.
That's alright, that's alright. Hold on for your life, your moment's coming soon. Soon you'll see the light, you'll see the light.